I mean, just to start, what's pro ball been like? Basically, how's been the transition? What are some things that have been kind of different about it?
It's been good. It's a little more laid back. I think anyone that plays pro ball and played college ball will tell you that it's a different atmosphere completely. College ball, you only have 20 hours a week, and you have to go to class and all that kind of stuff, and you're so focused on all these little different things. And in pro ball, you're just, you show up to the field. It's another day. You get the opportunity to play baseball, and it's a more relaxed vibe. There's not like all the rah and all that kind of stuff, and it's just you go about your business, play hard, and then forget about it. Whether it was a good day or a bad day, you forget about it as soon as you leave the stadium. Don't focus on baseball anymore.
Right.
And until you get to the stadium the next day.
What's you talk about just the rah-rah. Obviously, you go from being on a college campus to being in whatever town they happen to stick you in at that point in time. How's the life different, basically? Like I said, you get rid of classes and you're...
Yeah, it's... there's not as many responsibilities. You focus on baseball and pro ball, but you're not focused on it, if that makes sense. Like, it's obviously your main focus. That's why you're where you're at, and that's all you're really like... Your entire day is based around it. You play every day. You might have 1 or 2 off days in a month. So you're just focused on that. There's not near as many responsibilities. You're just hanging out, whether it's you're at your host family's house, hanging out with their kids, or you're going fishing in the morning, or you're going to get food or whatever it is, watching Netflix. There's just not much responsibility. You go to bed, you wake up in the morning, eat, go to the field, play a game, go home, maybe watch an episode or 2 of something on TV or Netflix, and then you go back to bed and do it all over again the next day. As opposed to in college, you have 6 a.m. workouts, you have class, then you have practice, and then you got to go home and study, you got to find time to eat,
right? And
then it's just an endless cycle. It's a little more laid back and not as taxing as far as all the other stuff goes in pro ball.
What, as far as just on-field adjustment, what's different about the game?
At the level I was at, I wouldn't say a whole lot. I would say there's more freak athletes at that level, but being in the SEC, it really prepared me.
Right.
Going up against a lot of quality arms, a lot of quality players and stuff, and being in the Cape as well, that helped a lot as well. And so it wasn't too much of a jump yet. As this year progresses, we'll see how much quicker it is and stuff. But I would say everyone was just a tick faster.
Right.
Other than that, there wasn't too much yet. And most of the guys that I was playing with or against were either 1 year or just removed from college, too.
Right.
So it wasn't as big of a jump yet. But it was definitely a little bit noticeably different. You didn't have the guys in college. You don't have the depth of the pitching staff like you do in pro ball. The biggest difference for me, I guess, was in pro ball, all the starters threw harder.
Right.
Every righty it seemed like was 91 to 94 with some arm side run or some sink to it. You didn't see very many flat fastballs. And then the bullpen was the biggest adjustment because it seemed like everyone out of the bullpen was 94 plus.
Right.
And in college, you'll have 1 or 2 guys on your team unless you're someone special, a special university or something like that. But for the most part, you don't have that many guys throwing that hard, and that was probably the biggest adjustment in pro ball.
So is it basically like seeing a Friday or not necessarily a Friday guy every night, but it's a Friday or a Saturday guy every night?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're always going to have those guys. I faced a lot of quality arms once I signed, and it's just a little bit different because it's just, I guess in college, you know who the Friday night guy is, you know how good they are and their reputation, all that kind of stuff. But in pro ball, unless you know who they are from prior instances or anything like that, it's just kind of another guy, and you don't really think about it too much. You're just more, we got this guy today, righty, 93, whatever, lefty, 91, some run to it, whatever. You don't really think about it as much in pro ball as you would in college.
What have you just kind of tried to do different as a hitter or better? Where have been kind of, as a hitter, as a fielder, basically, where are the areas that maybe they told you, hey, this is where you need to get better if you want to move up? Offensively, I've just been trying to be more aggressive and drive the ball more.
I'm not in the small ball offense anymore. I think I've bunted probably 3 times in pro ball, and so it's helped me because I've been able to be more aggressive.
Right.
And they don't work on all this stuff in practice and stuff. In pro ball, you're just out there. You take BP, you do your early work, and you're pretty much your own coach. You have a hitting coach and a manager and stuff, and the hitting coaches suggest things and stuff. But it's such a long season that they don't want to critique you too much because they don't want you to start thinking or you to go in a slump. They understand that there's going to be ups and downs in pro ball because it's such a long season, and so they just kind of tell you not to worry about it too much, and you can make minor adjustments and stuff like that. And I want to progress as a hitter and pull the ball a little bit more and develop more power and stuff. But you work on that in the off season, and then hopefully it just continues to progress throughout the season. You continue to build on what you've worked on and the foundation you've built. So.
Right. Couple things there. You talked about it just being a long season. Every time I've ever talked to a kid that moves on to play pro ball, the first thing that they talk about is you've got to be willing to deal with failure in ways that you haven't never had to deal with before. What's that part been like, and how does your pro club help you kind of get through that?
It's a battle with your mind. And baseball has always been a game of failure. It always will be. And so it's a real struggle, when things aren't going well. And the best thing you can do is just try and get away. Like I said, that's why when you leave the field, they don't want you thinking about baseball. That's why until you get to the field, they don't want you thinking about baseball, just because you can become so conscious of it all. They just try and get you to, focus on baseball when you're at the stadium, but outside of it, just, let it be. Don't worry about things. And sometimes they tell you, like if you're slumping, they say, just don't come in for early work. Just take BP, play in the game. Don't worry about it. Just try and, just little things like that they try and do just to help you get out of it. Because it only takes one big hit or anything like that to get out of it. And so, it's just you got to go through the process of it.
Right. Did you have any particularly tough stretches? Were there any periods where you're like, man, this is really getting to me?
And when I was in Connecticut for a little bit, I had a little stretch where I struggled. But then, I enjoy facing left-handed hitters. So we had for whatever reason, we had a stretch where we faced, I think, 4 or 5 starting pitchers that were all left-handed in a row. And I started swinging the bat well, and that's what kind of got me out of my funk. And, it just gave me a little more confidence. You're like, hey, you belong here. You can do all this. And so I think that helped me progress. And so I guess that was the one stretch really that I struggled. But at the end of the day, I take great pride in my defense. So even when I'm struggling offensively, I take great pride in my defense. So if that's going good, then I'm not overly worried about offense.
I was going to ask about that part of it too. Have they been kind of happy with what you've done defensively? Have you been happy with what you've done defensively? What's kind of worked out for you there so far?
I was very happy with how I played defensively. I think I can still progress and stuff, but I think one of the big things that I did was I eliminated some of the errors on routine plays, whether it's throwing the ball away or short hopping or anything like that. I think I eliminated a lot of those errors. And I just had a lot of confidence on defense. I've always had a strong arm, so I was able to make certain plays that, really helped me that certain guys probably wouldn't be able to. And that's why I'm a shortstop. That's why I've stayed at shortstop. That's why that's the only position I've played. So it's worked out well. I was very happy with the way I played defense.
Right. And I suppose they're set with you at shortstop. There's been no talk of moving you anyplace else, right?
No, not that I know of. No, sir.
What's